sick. You're making rolls, you're making saves, awesome. And now in this moment, you realize that you're a human in the real world.
Yeah.
And you went to work today, and you've been up since 5 because your cat woke you up early, and you're tired, and you didn't eat enough today, and it's not your turn. So you're just thinking about the fact that usually on not D&D nights, you go to bed an hour earlier than it currently is.
I don't know if you should have done it more where like that inner monologue was slowing down even more. Like you getting more and more tired. And you notice that even your monologue is drifting away off.
Even your inner monologue is starting to slither worse.
Hey, you still here? What? Oh, what's...
Nix, it's your turn.
Geez.
Nix, it's your turn. Okay. What are you doing?
What's happening?
Are you casting a spell? Do you remember what spells you have, Nix? It's your turn. Welcome to Take the Damage podcast by Unfortunate Ones. I'm Sov.
I'm Nix.
And we don't have a gray today. Wah, wah,
wah.
wah.
Wah, wah.
So, I have something coming up, and I thought it would be neat to talk about, because I know you have a lot of experience with this.
Sure. I was about to say, we didn't talk at all about what we're going to go on.
Yeah, roll dice. It's a 4.
No.
Writing one-shots.
I meant before, if we had any kind of preempting of what our topic was going to be.
So I'm going to be writing a one-shot for one of my players to introduce her cousin, to D&D.
Sure.
In general.
Sure.
And I figured, writing one-shots would be an interesting topic, especially considering...
Like introductory one-shots, too.
Well, that's what I was going to say is that I feel like, first half podcast introductory, because that's what I'm going to be doing. And I have opinions on it, though they're soft opinions, because it's not like I've done that a million times. Mostly I've done things for people with experience, which would be good second half podcast topic.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess this cousin has experience with Baldur's Gate.
Okay.
Which is pretty D&D.
I mean, that's if your interest into D&D comes from like, oh, I play Baldur's Gate and I like it. It's like the whole concept that like dice is a whole thing that you do.
I feel like it gives players an understanding of what is probably the biggest barrier to entry, which is the mechanics.
Also, it probably means that more than likely the joy that they're going to find in your introductory campaign is probably going to be sticking to traditional tropes of D&D.
That's actually what I was thinking. So I like talking about traditional tropes. You are a pair of adventurers.
Sure.
Go to a town, do a little bit of RP, a little bit of mystery.
Sure.
And to, in the end, find that there's a werewolf.
Sure.
Fucking easy, right? And the reason why I would do that in that way is like, what am I actually introducing to this person? So they've played Baldur's Gate. They understand the mechanics of it, right? They understand the different classes. They understand the purpose of them, the thematic, the themes of them.
Sure.
They understand the mechanics of rolling dice to be successful or not successful, both in combat and in role-playing. So I'm not introducing mechanics to them. Okay. Am I introducing narrative? No. Baldur's Gate is also extremely narratively driven. Though, there's a big thing on that, and that is what I am introducing them to more realistically, which is agency.
Yes.
That's when you're writing an introductory...
controlling the narrative is a big thing to like...
For someone who has a surface level understanding of what D&D is, I think the thing you're truly introducing them to is agency. And I think if you can this is my theory, I think if you give them what is otherwise a very tropey narrative, that they understand how you would traditionally navigate it and what the end game is, what the goal of it is, then that's not a distraction. And mechanics, I think, do low level. Now, the mechanics aren't too much of a distraction. So what are you actually introducing them to? The mystery, the role-playing,
Yeah.
right? There needs to be small little hooks throughout the little town. There needs to be important NPCs to talk to with voices.
Yeah.
They need to have their own backstory and personality. I'm going to do pre-made character sheets because,
Yes.
again, what am I introducing them to? It's not mechanics. They've made characters. They know how, Baldur's Gate, they know how to create a character in D&D to a degree at least. Probably not on a piece of paper, but that's fine.
I think you should mostly, this would be my opinion. I think you should mostly create a sheet. Create almost everything in the sheet, but let them define a couple of things about the character.
Yeah, well, so that was kind of what I was saying is I think we will find a suited background for them. That'll be the only thing on the sheet. And I'll still have them roll their stats, right? So I'll make the sheet entirely and then have them re-roll their stats. And I will give them suggestions on where to put things in there, whatever. But otherwise, yes, you are a level 2, whatever. And I'll have multiple character sheets. My opinion would be probably any of the martial classes, any of the 3 martial classes, and a warlock. Because warlocks are the easiest fucking mage to play. Again, mechanics aren't really what we're introducing them to, and I don't want to give them a bogged down resource system.
No, I get it. My hesitation with any spellcasting class that outside of like the clerics, the paladins, and the warlocks, and even warlocks is even any of the spellcasting classes anyway, is just like having even that pre-made sheet. Like you pick the spells. Right?
I would pick the spells. Yeah,
you pick the spells in there just to make it easy.
Choosing the spells is like, it's like, man, there's so many choices, and like all of a sudden you have to read 100 different spells, and then you're only picking some of them, and then you forget which ones you picked.
Because I like the idea where like you let them roll the stat block. To me, that adds a little more fun to it.
Yeah,
you give them advice as to where to put where they roll, because again, that's a big part of D&D is like, at least for some people, it is like rolling the dice or doing a point system to kind of like modify and choose your character to be a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said earlier, like leave some aspects of the personality up to them. Like
personality entirely.
Yeah, maybe like you said, maybe the backstory, some amount of the backstory, but they could let them tweak it a little bit, let them kind of fine tune it a little. Enough backstory to make it fit for the story you're trying to tell.
Mm-hmm.
But like they can tweak it from there. They can add a little bit more, like, hey, here's your backstory, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I would do the general, like, here's the story hook. Why is it hooking you?
Sure,
Who are you?
Yeah.
You are
That's
hooked.
good. Yeah.
Why is it hooking you?
Yeah.
Who are you that this would hook you?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And then, just like a clean run through, easy. It's a werewolf. I mean, all of the signs are there, right? Yeah. And like the classic, I know we did this in Realm Watchers before, but like the classic, there's a survivor, their family got attacked, they're the only survivor, go and talk to them. I'll probably pull from that Realm Watchers mission that we did where it was like a kid that was the survivor, and then the kid had to go live with a family member because the parents got.
Sure.
But the kid is like catatonic.
Sure.
So you gotta persuade them. You gotta figure out a way to get the kid to talk. All of a sudden, the kid has clues. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. A highly emotional beat is a really good thing to do for a new player.
I think it is, genuinely.
No, yeah.
I think because
I agree with you.
What is missing from Baldur's Gate is agency and finding your own connection with things that isn't cultivated for you.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. The level of choice that they put into Baldur's Gate is ridiculous.
Yeah.
For a choices matter choice tree game, man, did they do a good job in making it feel like you had agency.
Yeah.
But not the agency that a tabletop has.
No, of
A
course.
tabletop, you literally can think of anything you want to do.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a dragon attacking you. What are you doing on your turn? You're going to use your entire turn to take down your pants and scream hallelujah.
yeah.
If you want to, I guess, go ahead.
I mean, so generally, like my approach to that like introductory game that I ran recently was very similar. Here's a super basic concept. I was doing an item pickup.
Mm-hmm.
You work for a vendor.
Yeah.
He was expecting a delivery from a friend of his.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't show up. Hey, you guys want to go check up on my friend?
Yeah.
That's all it was. But I gave them enough room. In my mind, this was, in order to get to the delivery, you're going to walk through at least 1 or 2 towns. And in the walk through the towns, I'm going to give you an option, essentially. You're in this town. What are you guys doing? Here's the exploration of the agency that makes TTRPGs.
Yeah.
You're in a new town. Maybe not necessarily new. Is it new to you?
Yeah.
I have that choice to know the area that I'm in. It's like, yeah, I'm giving you the choice. Are you familiar with this area? And I go, well, no, I'm not. Or, yeah. Well, then you know that the market's here,
Yeah.
whatever's here. And then
You would know that on every Thursday they have a market with entertainment and dancers and blah, 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 because you've been here before.
yeah. And it's great if like it'd be even better if the first person you ask is like, no, I don't know anything. And the second player goes, oh, I get to find all this stuff out. Like I could say no and I don't know anything. And then also I could say that I do. And then, I find out what? There's the marketplace and there's what? There's all these different things. And like,
Yeah.
you create areas where like you explore that richness of decision making, of agency, of just like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, what are you guys doing here?
Yeah. Those are all good beats to hit of like, yeah, whatever little town is getting ravaged by a werewolf, that lent to the players of like, have you been to this town before?
Yeah.
Would you have come to this town before?
Yeah.
And I'm perfectly comfortable with you either just telling me yes or no, or if you'd like, you could roll for it.
And for me, I like, so part of it is like, especially for an introductory thing, it's those role play moments where you get to talk to somebody you get to talk to the kid. You get to talk to an adult, or you get to talk to some person of authority.
Yeah.
Talking to people is great. Having different moments to a bartender.
Well, and mystery that feels like you're solving it.
That's the other thing I was going to get to is like, especially if you're going to do like a werewolf story, potentially you could have like a wrecked cabin that the characters go to. Maybe it's this is the cabin of the family or somebody who's gone missing, and having the players find this wrecked cabin and then, what could we do here? It's like, in D&D, there's an investigation check.
Yeah.
So you roll the investigation check and then you can start feeding your characters the clues. Because again, that is a big part of D&D is the discovery.
Yeah.
Or TTRPGs is the discovery of events.
Also a red herring. So like immediately for sure. And this is just off the top of my head, but like maybe there's like a local town drunk. And,
maybe.
You know what I mean? And nobody likes him and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, there's somebody that's despised by the community.
Somebody that is otherwise an outcast, and everybody keeps referring to them, and it is just a red herring for the players to latch onto, to also, because that's a huge part of D&D is not everything is spelled out for you, and sometimes when it is, you have to really think about it. Like, don't just assume.
I would also I would make it, part of me feels like, again, because it's a new player, part of me feels like it shouldn't be like a true red herring.
No, it should be a clue still.
Yes.
It should lead to something still.
Like if the players confront him and he's like, I wasn't a part of that. I didn't do anything like that. People always accuse me. I saw what happened. And he says the thing. He's like,
he's a witness because he's the
Yes.
only one out late at night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He saw something.
He's the one who saw the actual transformation.
Yeah.
He's the one who he's like, blah, blah, blah.
I
People think
told
it was
him
me.
that
I told him.
his face got all long, but nobody believed me.
Yeah.
Again, I would avoid a true red herring.
Yeah, no. Definitely avoid a true. Well, especially because you're talking about a one shot.
Yeah.
True red herrings and one shots are a good way to make it a two shot.
Yeah. Granted, the one shot I was planning turned into like a 3 shot or something like that, but maybe it was just 2.
Super common though.
It is super common. So like,
I wrote a one shot, and I played it with some of my players that I know to be deep RPers, and it turned into a 7 shot.
the other thing I like to play with, and I did it for my game, which is to deal with, to introduce concepts that are a part of the tropes of D&D, but you don't necessarily want your player to go through the whole thing. So
Yeah.
like my players never did it, never followed through with it, but I wanted to introduce the trope of a solved dungeon.
Oh,
so
my
like,
God, yeah, the solved dungeon thing is hilarious.
I wanted my players to come across a group, and then their choice with that group would have been, hey, we got to this part and we're stuck. And so one of the guys who was outside of this cave, and they were just kind of having a short rest or a long rest, it was like, and if the players decided to follow them, essentially the guy would lead them through a solved dungeon. There's like a sword in a wall, and there's like arrows on one side of the wall. There's traps that are like marked in paint or something, like, yeah, don't step on that. And then like there's a room that looked like the walls are glistening from water, like it was flooded, but it's all drained out. So like you hit these tropes, you introduce these players to like all of this was just in the world, and you randomly ran across these group of guys that were outside of this cave that looked like nothing. And they went into the cave, and all of a sudden they're in a dungeon. And then at the end of the dungeon, they can't, let's say it's a riddle. They can't figure out the riddle. The characters go there, and you let your character roll a dice. Can they solve it? They roll low, and you go, they can't quite, but maybe you give them a piece.
Yeah.
So that like, when you hear that, you don't quite know what the riddle is, but you know that this usually means when you grew up that you heard something that this has to do with a river. And so maybe that character says like, oh yeah, would I know that? Would I say that out loud? It's like, yeah. Or you prompt them, would you say that out loud?
Yeah.
So the character says something about a river, and then you have another character, one of the other, like, river, that's what it is. And another character, if they don't roll high enough, they're solving it. They're like, yeah, the river, that's what this means, and blah, blah, blah. It's the answer, the riddle is time. And then fucking door opens up, whatever. So you don't,
so much of D&D is just trying to give fucking your players big moments of like, you're just stroking the egos of all of your players
a little bit
constantly of just.
I mean, but that's a whole hero fantasy aspect
I know,
of it.
especially hero fantasy.
Yeah. It's like,
It's definitely not how G&G was.
yeah. I mean,
G&G was just me trying to fucking stomp on your guys' balls with stilettos the whole time.
well, not really, because again, it's part of hero fantasy is you could be the hero, but like taking the edge away from it a little bit, it's still your characters are making a difference in the world.
Yeah,
Your characters are have the ability and do something in the world. So that to me is like the smaller end of hero fantasy. We did that in G&G.
even yeah, I would say to me it's an even bigger end because you really had to fucking earn it in G&G.
Yeah.
But
When
you did often.
Yeah, when your characters do something, they find something, they kill this criminal or this other person that they're part of their goals were after. There's these little things where your character is affecting the world.
Yeah.
And so like there is a little bit of it, especially with the newbie stuff where it's like, yeah, you guys win something.
Yeah.
But there's still, yeah, you get a treasure chest. That's again.
Hey, have you ever tried this thing called dopamine?
I still want to, because again, my players in the one shot didn't do the dungeon thing. I still want to do the dungeon thing for a game.
Yeah.
Because again, that also gives you the moment of your players being able to open up a chest. Like an ancient chest in a dungeon.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, cool. Your players get to see a chest get open and people divvy out gold and weapons and stuff. And it's like, that's a fun moment to give your players, especially as somebody who's new to it.
Yeah. Oh, I hadn't thought about that, but loot
Loot is great.
Loot is something that I should introduce.
So to me, that
Also, prep.
yes,
Like, there should be a local, knowledgeable person once you find out what it is. And then you could go to that person. And they could be like, you need silver. And then you could go to, I definitely want one of the people that you're directed to talk to be a blacksmith, not for his services. Like an earlier clue
sure.
is like, go talk to the blacksmith. So like maybe the blacksmith saw something or something like that. And that's, you just get a normal clue and then you move on.
Yeah.
Right? But you've made a friend. And once you figure out what it is, now you know you need silvered weapons.
Yeah.
Hey, remember that friend that you have that makes weapons?
Or that could gild a weapon with silver.
Yeah.
The one of the other things too is I also liked I'd written this into the one shot that I wrote for our friends, which is try to hit a point in each stat. So try to have an event in there that takes a roll of strength, that takes a roll of dexterity, that takes a roll of intelligence. So like solving a riddle, connecting clues, those being your intelligence rolls, wisdom being the investigation, charisma. Put in a point where there's a possibility that characters could persuade a shopkeeper to give them a better deal.
That's actually a really good thought. Yeah, I'll try to incorporate that as well.
Yeah, try
of
to.
Like hitting all 6.
Yeah, it might not happen,
Mm-hmm.
but just try to give moments to your characters. Because like I had a moment like that built into our game for persuasion and a shopkeeper. But I got so lost in the role play and my player was so doing the role play that I just skipped right over it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that's also a part of the game.
I mean, if you're really doing an introductory thing though, you could even say like, hey, you've nailed the role play so well that I actually don't need you to make me a persuasion check.
Calling it out would
You're
also be good.
kind of already persuading, but why don't you roll anyways and see if you can get a critical success?
Sure, yes. The thing is, I completely forgot in the moment,
Yeah.
but that's a good thing. So if you're going to do something like
If
that.
you're doing introductory.
Yeah. And the thing I did too, another thing is a small battle. Do something small. Introduce something small, should be quick, just to get them with the feel of what it's like to use their weapons, use their abilities. Preferably do it before they have a chance to do another long rest.
Yeah.
So like they can kind of spunk their load. They can kind of like let it out and know what it's like.
Give them a win.
Yeah, know what it's like to target something with their abilities. Know what it's like to take damage, what their armor class means, what the attacks against them means, what low damage is like, or what big damage is like. Let's say it is a small fight, but the small thing can do a big burst of damage. Like the last one does a big thing, like whatever. And so you kind of like, oh, this is what big damage is. And then like, yeah, of course, this would be on the way to something. So they have the opportunity to have a long rest to recover all of that.
It's kind of hard to do in a one shot though.
It is hard
to do 2 combats.
It is hard. That's why I said like to try to make it a small thing. So
yeah, but even then to do 2 combats with we're talking D&D here.
I know. I'm just
to do 2 combats in a 4-hour session. That's rough because you just can't do role play.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because a small combat, you're looking at like at least 30 minutes, right? And then a large combat, you're looking at an hour to an hour and a half.
Yeah, of course.
D&D's so fucking slow. And then, so yeah, you have what, like, yeah.
Yeah, again, it was just something that I had planned in but also my one shot turned into 2-shot, or I think it was 2, it might have been 3.
It was 2 or 3, I don't recall.
I might have just been
I don't
2.
think I have that opportunity. I think this is going to be a genuine one shot.
Yeah. Again, it was just something I planned because I thought it would be fun to do.
Oh no, if you could do that, like, genuinely, I think that's a wonderful thing to do. Like if you could do it in a mini campaign or even in a large campaign, but in a specific arc, give an early win to make your players feel good.
I also didn't anticipate, at least in ours, which is something I think I would anticipate in the future. I didn't anticipate one of the characters not using any of their weapons or abilities. and fighting with the stick from the fireplace. That part I did not anticipate.
Well,
as a
mostly
thing.
because, why the fuck would you?
Yeah, I just saying the fight would have happened probably a lot faster. It would have been over quicker. I just did that part threw me off. That part's hard to do the math on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But I mean, even so, that's what I'm saying. It's hard in the one shot. Is we did a little bit of role playing in our shop that we had started in, and then we started adventuring. We got like halfway where we were going. We had to make camp, and then bugs attacked us, and that was our easy fight. That was the whole session. We basically got the in-game hook.
I think you got to the second town at the end of that session. I believe I introduced.
Oh, maybe we did a little bit more traveling. Yeah, but my point is the majority of that session was the easy combat was the majority of that session. It's really hard to do too.
Oh, no. I think it was that session was a little bit at the shop, the travel, the bug fight, and then you went to that second town, and that's where like the character did like Tai Chi at a monastery.
Yeah.
And then from the second session was the travel to the other location.
Yeah.
Which is where the actual mystery was at. So there was still it was a little bit more than that.
I think it was three sessions. I think the first session was it ended after the bug fight. Well, we traveled to the next town, and then the second session we started in that town. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't recall. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I should do? There's a level of prep before fighting the werewolf, right? You could fight him as a person. That would be a good move, right? Fighting a werewolf as a person, not a bad move. That's good prep. If you can solve the problem before nightfall and the full moon, then that's good prep. You succeeded. And then otherwise, getting your weapons silvered. That's good prep.
Mm-hmm.
Probably something along the lines of a defensive buff. That's good prep. If they don't hit like 2 out of 3 of those, I might just pad to intentionally kill not the new player, but the player that requested the game.
Sure.
And be like, hey, yeah, character death, that's a part of the game too.
Sure.
This is your introduction.
Yeah, I mean, that's not bad. I mean, I was gonna make comments about the kind of werewolf you bring in, but also knowing it's a whole. You're just gonna make something up because it's werewolves are usually pretty CR or pretty high CR, but like they have like were rats and like you could do other were creatures, but you're probably already gonna do your own version of werewolf.
I would want to do it relatively as tropey as possible, but obviously I would cultivate it to the CR rating of what I want to play.
Yeah, of course. I'm just like just the silver thing, the resistant to non-magical, non-silvered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for the most part that's most werewolves. It's just that.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know what you would do as a defensive buff, but
it's just the non-magical, non-silvered thing as far as I'm aware. I don't know. I don't think werewolves regenerate. I think they're usually just high HP,
yeah,
relatively
high
low
damage.
AC.
For their CR rating, I think they're just high HP, high damage.
Yeah.
And multi-attack. But that's
Yeah.
high damage again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what we've talked about, like be tropey.
Try to do
Everything should lead towards the answer. So like
Yeah.
all of your hints, all of your hooks.
no true red herrings.
No true red herrings. Have all types of checks involved so that one, they could feel the success of the way they've rolled their character. Say they roll intelligence, they could feel the benefits of the intelligence, but then also they feel the negatives of not having strength becomes an issue.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's,
Yeah.
that's why all of the stats are important. So have pre-designated checks for all of those things.
or that party composition is something to be aware about. Like if you're not good at strength, someone in your party should be
Someone should.
relatively okay with strength.
pre-generated characters. If
Pre-generated.
if she wants to do another game, then I would say, okay, for our second game, I would like to do a full session 0, and let's fully make you a character.
Yeah, if you hook them enough where they want to get involved in another game and they want to do another one shot, then at that point, yes, be like, okay, we could do.
Well, at
whole
that point, I
cloth.
would be like, hey, instead of a one shot, what I would suggest is we do a mini campaign, say 3-session mini campaign, and a full session 0. Let's
Sure.
fully
Yeah.
make you a character.
Character from whole cloth. Yeah.
Yeah. Fully make you a character. We'll make it a little bit higher level. We'll make a whole background and whatnot, and personality and all of those great things. We'll give you a good adventure hook, and then we'll give you enough time with that character to actually give a fuck about the character.
Yeah. I mean, it's also like if they are from the video game space, for coming from Baldur's Gate, giving them like a selection screen where they could, here's your limited picks of like the pre-generated character. I don't think they're gonna bat an eye at it. I think it'll be like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll pick this one. And like, yeah, you get these abilities
Yeah.
when you pick this one.
Well, it's also just like, hey, we're trying to accomplish a one shot as an introduction, and I think if we're gonna dig into character creation, it's immediately gonna be a 2-shot.
Sure, yeah. You're asking.
We
like,
could talk about that for an hour or two, and we
Yeah.
can't play a game in an hour.
But yeah, trying to make every role matter in different situations. The role play of characters, and even like what
Heavy role play.
the heavy role play, and like you like I pointed, or like we talked about earlier, if you could do like a truly big emotional hit, ooh, that's so good.
Oh
To
yeah.
do like just that, like talking with a child survivor of an attack.
Yeah.
Wow, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Or even like if they do get into a personal conversation with the drunkard, dealing with somebody who's generally ostracized but doesn't see themselves as a bad person.
Yeah.
And it's just like people like,
Oh, what I would love is like to write it as an unlikely outcome, but a possible outcome of like the werewolf's not a bad person.
oh yeah, that'd be great.
Unlikely outcome. Most outcomes is you're only ever going to confront the werewolf as a werewolf, kill the werewolf, and you'll never know that. But if you could find that out,
I would heavily make it so that if the players kill the werewolf without finding that information, there is no way they could find the information. You burn the existence that there was another path.
Yeah.
Because it's part of the trope is I'm the good guy, they're the bad guy.
Yeah.
If you can have an opportunity where like they somehow they find a clue that they find this is where the character likes to seclude themselves, and as the characters are walking, they hear distant sobbing, and they get closer and they see somebody who's torn up, their clothes are tattered, they're torn up
Yeah.
about their existence, and they're just wailing out to the gods, like, why have they been forsaken to be this way, and like they wishing that they didn't have this desire, this hunger for whatever, and like this person who's lamenting the
God,
position
you could
they're
hit
in.
another good emotional moment. I know this isn't how werewolves traditionally work,
Sure.
but you could have the character beg them to put them out of their misery
Sure.
with the warning that the moment they are in danger, they will transform and they will fight back, but please do it anyways.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh man, like that's such a fucking hard-hitting moment.
It's definitely way more fun to have the opportunity that this guy is not a bad person.
He's cursed.
He's just cursed. This is a traditional trope of cursed werewolf.
Yeah.
This is some weird and like this is getting out of the realm of one shot of like finding the thing that cursed them.
It's so easy to get out of the realm of one shots. Like immediately, like, yeah, I would make the whole campaign like, you're going to this town because something's bad happening. You spend the whole session figuring out what's happening. It's a werewolf. Okay. Now second session. Now you got to find the werewolf. You find the clues good enough. Okay. You find out that the werewolf's not actually a bad person. You could end it here. And third session, you confront and kill the werewolf. Or different path. Third session, you find out who's cursing the werewolf. and then you have to remove that curse, and then you got to go deal with some clerics, but they're necromancy clerics, and fucking it's so easy to just blow things up.
It's funny, like my brain, I was going through different ways of trying to make it work as a one shot, of like finding the guy, getting clues from him, trying to figure out where his curse comes from. And it's like, oh, let's say there's some weird like old monastery that he visited that he drank water from. It's like, okay, maybe if they go there, and it's really easy to find that like the water looks off, and you can find where the water's coming from. And inside, like easy, they don't have to try that hard to go into the place where the water's coming from, and it's like some fucking magical stone or whatever that the water's passing under. All they have to do is break the stone, and it breaks his curse. My original thought was it's some kind of like aged old werewolf that's just lying in the pool that he can't die because it's the curse of the werewolf. So he's just there wishing to be ended, but his blood and his remnants is just in the water. So this guy drank this water and he became cursed. And there you just have this old, decrepit, non-dying werewolf that just wants to be put into an end. And so you have a moment where like you end this old werewolf.
I fucking love D&D so much.
Oh, dude. I mean, you just have fun with just the different stories you can tell.
And not being tropey. Just going away the other end.
Oh, yeah. Just build like you have a one opportunity to add a layer to the story. And then that could just blow up.
I fucking do it all the time. I gave my players late in the game, they're already powerful. They even made a comment where they're like, this feels like early game stuff, where I was like, hey, there's bandits. You want to go kill some bandits?
Sure.
And they're like, yeah, we'll go kill some bandits. And then they went to go kill the bandits. And then they started talking to the bandits. And then it turns out the bandits are just people that live in the wilds. And the reason why they've turned to banditry is because there's like things that they can't get out in the wilds. But they are no longer welcome into the towns. So then they have to get it somehow, like medicine and shit.
Sure.
And so they befriended these people, and then they got to the actual town that these people are originally from. And this is all like Goliaths, right?
Uh-huh.
And then it turns out that the town has a chieftain, and it's a very hunting-oriented town or whatever. And then they ask the chieftain, like, oh, do you know about the bandits? And he's like, oh, do you mean the wildmen of, or the wild, what was it? The wildkin of Kragmar?
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, yeah, they used to be a part of the city, a long time ago in old history. And when this became a trade route, the chieftain at the time was relatively against it, but the people called for it. And eventually there was a split, and the chieftain actually left and moved into the wilds. And the town kept going and became more industrial. And then they became more and more wild. But they are actually the true, like, ancestral line of this valley. And I was like, why am I doing all this? It's supposed to be just kill the bandits. Just making all this fucking deep lore for no fucking reason.
Again, it's once you get, like, if you get a tiny little thread, a tiny little push in a direction, like, you could just go off.
Yeah.
Because it's easy. It's easy to just, like...
I mean, that's literally, like, my version of improv. That is all it is that, like, the way me and you would sit here and bullshit, all I do is commit.
Yeah.
So, like, the moment, like, all I do is, like, we're talking, like, what if this, what if that? I just don't say what if. I just sit there and string along thoughts randomly in front of my players until the session ends, and then panic prep in the week between of what it all actually means.
I honestly can't wait till I have the opportunity for in a story to do like a werewolf curse that originates from like this like ageless decrepit werewolf.
That's a cool way to tell the tale.
That's like in a place he doesn't want to be in, but he is so far into this like undying curse where he's just stuck.
Yeah.
He's just like, maybe part of his body is trapped. and this water's just running past him, but he just can't die. He's been wanting to die for centuries, for thousands of years. He just can't.
Yeah.
Because that's the curse he has.
And it's only by happenstance that someone came and
Yeah.
drank from it this time. Like, no, there was no like, there's a werewolf out here biting other people and making them into werewolves. Nope, that's not happening.
Yeah.
This guy is living in solitude.
This other guy also found a monastery that has been long abandoned.
Yeah.
And he just happened to see that there was water and he was thirsty. There's no malicious intent with anything.
My Friday game, my player was like, hey, do I know anybody in this town? And I was like,
Steve.
roll for it. And then they rolled for it. And I was like, yeah, you know this person. They're like, okay, I want to meet with this person. You said we were childhood friends. Yeah. So would we know like a secret place to meet? And I was like, well, you were kids. Yeah. You know this like old ravine? You know this like back alleyway that you guys used to hang out, and then like outside of town, you knew this place that was called like Stone Circle, and they're like, what's Stone Circle? And I was like, it's a bunch of like, monoliths, in a circle out in the woods, abandoned, looks ancient. You don't know what it was, but you used to hang out there. There's like a crack in the ground and you could kind of crawl into whatever room was beneath it. And they're like, oh, that sounds cool. Why don't we meet there? Cool. And then they go there and I was like, oh yeah, like everything is way more overgrown than you remember it being. And now that you're older, you can tell what the text is. It seems to be some version of Orcish, and it looks very similar to something you saw earlier in the campaign. And then one of them's like, oh, okay, I'm going to ritual cast comprehend language. And I was like, okay. And then the other ones are like trying to find that crack that they used to crawl into. And I was like, oh, it's fixed, which is kind of weird. Who would have fixed this? And then it's overgrown? That's weird. Meanwhile, the other ones were doing comprehend language. And then I made it this. So the orcs, this is the first time I revealed it in the campaign that the orcs were actually the first one on this island.
Sure.
And then the orcs, some of them prayed to like a patron, and it's basically just fucking evil warlocks. It's a fiend patron. It's warlock orcs that prayed to a fiend patron. And then like I gave all this horrible, creepy fucking text. I just sat there talking for 5 minutes, making shit up. And then it talked about the code word, and the code word is on the slab that used to be broken that they could go inside. And then it talked about an artifact that's down there. And then when the one that could comprehend language read the thing, they saw the code word, and the code word was summoning the fiend. And then I was like, hey, are you reading this out loud, by the way? And then one of my more chaotic players was like, I'm going to say the code word. And I was just sitting there waiting. He decided not to, so I said it above table. But I was like, yeah, if you decided to do that, you would have said the code word. And nothing would have happened, because as the text had stated, it has to be in this dialect, which only the person who cast comprehend language would be able to do.
Yeah.
So you couldn't have disrupted my table if you wanted to. Congratulations. And then, yeah, if they open it up, there is going to be an artifact, and if they touch it, I might force one of them to be a warlock. The funniest part about all of this is that I planned none of it. It was just some random meeting place that I improvised.
Sure.
They got to the place. They started asking me questions. I improvised all of this shit. And this is a whole side quest. This has nothing to do with anything. I'm just stringing along improvisation to the point of, cursing someone with a patron god. Fucking love it.
Well, do you want to start talking about higher level one shots?
No. What I want to do is turn to our loot table.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Come on, everybody.
Yeah.
Come on,
Let's get
everybody.
hyped.
Let's go and roll
Yeah.
on the loot table. Let's go and see
Let's
who
do it,
our
everybody.
sponsors will be.
Come on. Let's go.
Let's go roll on the loot table.
Still my favorite part of the whole show.
Today's sponsor is Aelfinant. Have you ever been tired after a week of adventuring and you just want to share a nice ale with your companions, your adventuring party. 1 ale turns into 2, 2 to 4, 4 turns into the keg, and now you're out of ale. And you're too drunk to get on your horse and ride down to the local shop and buy more. What are you to do? Well, turn to Alefinant. It is an endless decanter of not water, my friends, but ale, as you can endlessly have a supply of ale. Hosting a party? Alefinant, to keep all of your friends happy. Hosting a wedding with all of those pesky guests and family members that just keep drinking, and you're paying for keg after keg after keg at this expensive venue that you can't really have afforded anyways. Well, if you can afford an uncommon magical item, Alefinant is there for you. Pour drink after drink for Uncle Tony as he gets smashed and tries to dance with the bride.
And unlike silly and outdated alchemy jugs who have, you can make some poison, you can make some water, blah, blah, blah. Alefinant is so entirely focused on ale that there's no stupid 4-gallon limit on your ale. This is forever ale. This ale flows and flows and flows.
And it comes in many flavors and many shapes. As our companion at the table, Nix, can tell you, sometimes you want to go to the bar with your adventuring party, but you don't want to pay bar prices, right?
No.
So what do?
Well, the good thing about Alefinant is they can help disguise Alefinant, or not disguise. They have a variety of containers, one of which looks like a common water skin. And when you get checked in, when you're going to get go to the bar, guess what? It needs a command word to let the actual ale flow. So if you get checked, you pat it down, and the bartender goes, hey, you can't bring in that water skin. Go, man, it's empty. Pop it open, uncork it, do your little, and just go, look, nothing's coming out. I got nothing in there. This is just an empty water skin. Cruise into the bar, and then you have your command word for Alefinant, and all of a sudden you're getting yourself free drinks. You're at the bar, you're partying it up, and you're enjoying your drinks.
My personal favorite part of Alefinant is that it comes in a variety of flavors. You have your standard ales, your heavier dark ales, and their new line of infernal pale ales. To put a little bit of a fire in your belly. But if none of their flavors, classical flavors that Alefinant comes in, satisfy you, that's fine. It is a two-way container. You can, of course, at any point, pop open the top, pour in your favorite ale, close it up, and now that is what will infinitely come out of the spout from your Alefinant jug. That being said, we talked about going to a bar. We talked about bringing your Alefinant, maybe under your coat or disguised as a water skin. Sometimes you go to a bar, you don't want to bring your own ale necessarily. You want to try the local drinks. Well, find one that you like, and when the bartender's not looking, pop it into your Alefinant, and you can have unlimited glasses of that fine ale from that fine bartender without having to pay those bartender prices, or even worse, bartender tips.
Or if you want to, in the same vein, this ability that Alefinant has is going to make sure that the people at your table are your friends for the night. Because when you get to go back to the table and pour them up some drinks, and they don't have to go to the bartender, leave a tip, pay for each drink that they're drinking, guess what? You're the center of the party.
Now, we have received a specific message from Alefinant that we were told that must be read. Small disclaimer. Anything that you put into Alefinant containers that are not indeed ale will come out as poison. So
Yes.
don't kill your family at your local weddings.
And they also, the drinks are, as part of the advertisement, they do say they're the same, but they are legally distinct. They are, there is an added compound that gets added to the drinks. And we'll say it's poison. I mean, the read says it's poison. So just know that it is a legally distinct beverage that is coming out of Alefinette.
And not poison.
And not poison.
Though it is poison.
So it is poison.
It's not poison, but it is poisonous.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, Alefinette.
What the fuck is our show?
I don't know. That one got, that one was a thing.
So, writing one-shots for experienced players. I'd like to start it off with the same question. What are you doing? What's the purpose of it?
Sure.
So, like, when you're doing an introductory thing, what are you really trying to accomplish? What are you introducing them to? When you're writing for experienced players, I would say the biggest thing that you are doing, realistically, is it becomes no longer about the players. When you're writing for experienced players are usually down for anything. I mean, obviously, if you are like a paid GM and you're setting out an advertisement and you're trying to attract people, then maybe it's a little bit different. But like when we're talking about like a home table, when I write a one-shot or mini campaign or whatever for you guys, for you and for Gray, I'm doing it because I have a story that I want to tell. And I don't need to cultivate it to your guys' liking because you guys are so experienced at this point that you're adaptable.
I wouldn't necessarily probably restrict it in the same vein, but I do agree with you that could be an inspiration for a one shot for an experienced group. Well, it's like you have a story that you want to tell that's relatively simple, but you know that it is complex enough that you need a group of experienced players to be able to tell the story appropriately.
Not even necessarily that. I think you just don't need to worry about it anymore. So like think about in the last 6 months, all of the ideas that we have talked about of games that we want to play together, like beyond just like the classic ones or not classic, but the standard games, pre-written adventures and whatnot, but like even the custom ones that we want to do, I want to do that like noir one.
Sure.
Not because I think you guys will like it. I want to do it because I think we'll all have a good time.
Sure.
But I want to do it because I think it's a really neat idea. And I want to write that story and I want to write those mechanics. You had the buddy cop idea.
Sure.
And obviously it's for us, but there's a level of that is very strongly for you. Like when we were talking about writing an introductory one, everything we were talking about was cultivating to that new player or new players.
I mean, so I agree and I agree and I disagree because like, at least for me, the buddy cop story is, of course, it is a fun idea in general. I like Rush Hour. I like the other guys. They're fun movies. So like it is fun for me to play in the space of like having the opportunity of telling a story that's like that. This like weird comedic action thing. But also a big inspiration for it is like my players so enthusiastically wanting to play in that space.
Yeah.
The idea stemmed from like Gray being a grizzled kobold veteran and then you being a rookie and be like, yeah, we're going to make a game around that. We're going to make a game around that concept.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, oh, it's because it's like my players want to play in that space. They want to try this thing out. And I'm 100% willing to facilitate the idea. And like, I love all this stuff. The reason why I say that, or one of the other reasons why I say that is one of the other one shots that I remember building for like Realm Watchers. It wasn't necessarily because I wanted to tell the story, is nobody had experience playing like a level 20 one shot before. So we did that. I made a level 20 thing for Realm Watchers.
Sure.
Where I don't think it's necessarily exclusively about you. Sure.
I'm just saying it becomes a lot more about you.
I think that there's a lot more tendency to want to tell those kinds of...
Yeah. Well, I don't know... Like, when you're writing the Buddy Cop one, obviously we can't talk about details, we've not played it yet, but when you're writing the Buddy Cop one, is there any point where there's been any barriers where you're like, oh, I don't know if they would like this, or or I don't know if they could do that or anything involved like that. Or as soon as it dropped onto your plate, the buddy cop thing.
Sure.
Obviously, it's them. I actually remember the conversation. It originated from the comedic joke of Gray playing a grizzled kobold.
Yeah.
And then at one point in that conversation, I said, "Ooh, I actually kind of want to be a player in this instead of a DM."
Yeah.
And you jumped on it like, "Oh, I would be into DMing that."
Yeah.
So like, yes, it was much more of a copacetic thing for sure, but I imagine at no part of creating it have you had to anticipate us very much, because we'll just get involved in anything you want to do. So when you're writing it,
True.
there's a very large degree of you get to write whatever it is that you want to write.
So to an extent, part of it, even now, like it's been really tough to find the pieces to get the story rolling.
Mm-hmm.
One, I haven't put that much energy into really fleshing out everything, but it took me a long time to find the thing that I thought would be a way to explore, to give you guys a reason to even play, to like, to find a story to play.
Trying too hard, but we don't need a reason.
No, I understand. But I need a reason as a DM to give you, to make it feel like you guys
This could be a 2-year campaign, and
Sure.
you could have no hook at all. You could just tell us, hey, you're buddy cops, and you're in a squad car.
Sure.
Go.
But for me, it's like,
I know.
it's also like you said, there's a story that you want to tell as a DM.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, I want to tell a Rush Hour story.
Yeah.
I want to tell another guy's story.
You want to tell a theme. I don't know if you initially set off with a story specifically that you want to tell.
It started, the root of the thing was my players want to play with each other in this space. What does that space mean? I need to play in the space, the theme of Rush Hour Other Guys. All right, let me make a story that would fit in with these stories. So that's the big thing. Okay, as far as anticipating my players, I've literally, part of the game is I'm going to make an ability. There's a part called, I named it ICAG. It's IKAG. I know a guy.
I love the I know a guy. Oh my God, on the I know a guy, I was thinking like a cool thing that you could do in a campaign. It'd be better for a short campaign, not necessarily a mini, not like a 3 session, but like, a 12, whatever, 3 months, 6 months campaign. It'd be really cool to give out custom features, but everybody has the same features, and they are a one-time use only. One of them being, I know a guy.
Sure.
Everybody starts the campaign with an I know a guy card, and you'll have players that will spunk all of their cards in the beginning of the game, and they're like session 1, I know a guy.
Yeah.
But it's the players that hold on to them, and you guys are in like end game scenario, and you're like, I know a guy.
And just to clarify what I know a guy means, is just essentially in all of these movies, in Rush Hour, Other Guys, where like the characters all of a sudden they're like, oh, I know a guy, where they just go to an area in the city where they just talk to somebody.
We need to know what's going on with drugs. Oh, I know a guy, and it's an informant.
Yeah.
We need a getaway driver. Oh, I know a guy, and it's this like ex NASCAR driver for whatever reason.
Or you think of like in Rush Hour, it's the guy who's a drug dealer or a crime, a crime guy that is this guy's cousin.
Yeah.
And even in The Mummy, there's
oh my God, there's so many Noah guys.
There's so many.
Mummy.
There's a guy who flies the plane. There's a guy who flies the blimp. There's just people that show up.
Pretty sure it's the same guy twice.
Oh, the guy that flies the plane is the fat guy that dies in the first one.
I don't recall.
Not the second one has.
I believe you.
Yeah. But it's just like, there's just I know a guys. That's all it is. It's just
I love I know a guy as a feature.
Yeah.
I hate it as a continuous feature. There is a background, I think it's Criminal, that is I know a guy, but it's like, oh, every city ever that you ever go to, people in
Oh,
it.
sure.
And it's like,
but
but our campaign is that you've never been here before.
Yeah, I think when I see that in the background, I always take it as like whatever your starting city or certain cities, like there are some crime syndicates that are there, and you happen to know them. You don't know
every
every
single campaign. Like a lot of my campaigns are, you're coming to a new land.
Sure.
So how do you know a guy?
Yeah, that would be all. That would be. It's like the only way I would give any kind of credence to that would be like there's people. Again, it depends on the campaign. If there's like literally, there's no chance that anybody from the old world is in this new land, then you can't do it. But you could have it where like somebody shows up. They're trying to create a spot for the syndicate. So, like, you could see a person that is of the same organization.
There's so much about backgrounds that for me, I know we've talked about this before and there's no reason to talk about it right now, but feel like someone tried to make mechanics that should otherwise just be you as a player talking to your DM.
Sure.
And it's like that should never have been put down in text. That should not be a mechanic. Like, I think the I know a guy thing from the criminal background is fine. Go to your DM. Be like, hey, as part of my backstory, I've been very involved in the criminal underground, so I would know people in various places. Is that okay in your game?
But
but instead it's like, oh, I just have these things that you need to work around. I don't like backgrounds at all. And by the way, 2024 backgrounds all come with a feat.
Yeah.
Like a proper feat.
Yeah. I don't know a lot about. I had to look more into 2024. I just kind of like went blind to it when I was just like, I like 5e. I don't like 5. The idea of 5.5, and I was like, but anyways.
Anyway,
just quick before we go back to the topic. For me, a lot of that background stuff, a lot of that like stuff that gets added in, or like the what are your character's flaws and all this stuff. It's like, I feel like D&D for the most part, and even most TTRPGs are like, we understand that as most DMs who are experienced, you're just going to ignore a lot of this. This stuff here is for people who have like, no clue.
But what bothers me is
don't have any ideas of how to start the game. This is just to like try to get the ball rolling.
But it's not how it's used.
I understand.
I understand what the purpose of it for.
That's my
but it's like,
feel of it.
these backgrounds help a DM that doesn't know what they're doing, but they've become standard rules, and therefore they've only hindered because you got DMs that do know what they're doing and could just have conversations with their players, but now the expectation is that the players pick their background, and then on top of their background, with their background feat and their background languages and everything like that, still want to go to the DM and be like, well, what about my background?
Sure.
Like, also, I'm a farmer, and on top of being a criminal, blah, blah, blah. Like, I just chose that for the feat. And it's like, okay, now you're just getting double shit. Yeah. And it's like, well, do I tell you can't have the things that you made during character creation? Or like, I don't know.
Yeah. The negative part is that it does create like,
I feel like it's done so much more harm than good. Same with alignment.
It does create like an expectation where players can then bring that to the DM, and it could cause rough issues where like,
I love the custom background rules.
Yeah, I get it. It could create friction. But anyways, one shots. And one shots for experienced players. But the biggest thing, at least my bigger rebuttal to some of the stuff that you were saying earlier, which is just like, for me at least, when I think about designing one shots for experienced players, a big chunk of my thought goes into, but again, I also build one shots for players who I am very familiar with. Is there something that we as a group, or that group has not experienced? Is there something in the space of D&D, TTRPGs, where we haven't gone down this line? And earlier I brought up the level 20 game.
Sure.
I have never played with in a space with characters nearly that powerful.
You did not nail it.
The level 16 one I didn't nail. The level 20 one I thought was good.
What was the level 20?
That was the one where you guys were fighting like a godlike avatar, where there were like waves in different groups of like realm watchers that were going to fight this god, and you were one of the forces that went to go deal with them. And like, I think Bacchus, he like used one of his weapons to like kamikaze himself in front of the thing to blow it up. And
God, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was. You guys were fighting like a godlike avatar, and it became like I thought it ran well. I thought it was like a fun game. It was like I used like a MTG Eldrazi as like the main base of the avatar god, but it was like you were in a battlefield, like in a separate like whatever, and there were like waves of dead realm watchers that were being sent to fight this thing. But anyways, I had a good time. I thought it was fun. People looked like they had a great time. Bacchus had a blast sacrificing himself by literally destroying this wand, this like staff of the Magi.
Yeah, because you could break it.
Because you break it and it explodes. And so he decided to break it and explode it into this damaged god. And
I did the same thing as the one paladin I've ever played, the Leonin. Where like I forgot I got cursed with some item and I knew it was gonna blow me up, so I just took all of the bad guys away from you guys. And I was having some epic battle.
Gray's game, yeah.
Yeah. I was having some epic battle while you guys were actually solving the campaign. And then you guys went to go solve the campaign. Never solved it, by the way. And then my Leonin just fought until exploding, and I was just trying to cultivate as many enemies as I could before blowing up.
I think
it was a wand of fireball or something like that.
Something like that. It was some weird fireball thing where you just like nuked yourself in a giant blaze of fire.
I was gonna die anyway.
I think I ended up having a poor conversation with the bad guy, and
you ended up
myself.
doing literally what we talked about. Why in Delta Green you might make a new character. It was just one of your classic fucking not written for the campaign style characters.
Well, it was I think for me in that moment, it was like the trope or the story being told was like this bad guy that had devastated this town was here for an item, and if given the item, they would just walk away.
Yeah.
And in my character's mind, it was like, oh, I'm a protector of the realm. I'm just going to give this bad guy this terrible item or this item.
Yeah.
That is this powerful item that they're going to potentially more than likely deal even more damage.
Yeah, but you gave it to them anyways.
Oh, no.
By dying.
Well, no, I nuked us all. I nuked the item and him into the sphere of the.
Oh.
I used the sphere of annihilation.
That became such a fun mechanic.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
We got to release Realm Watchers.
Yeah.
Anyways, writing a one shot, which we've not talked about at all for experienced
we talked
players.
a little bit about it. But again, my viewpoint is I like to try for one shots like that. I want to try to see if I can explore something that my players haven't explored, or like something that I can twist something on.
I think in general for me, it's like wanting to. If there's a story, well, one shots are kind of hard. Honestly, one shots are just fuck arounds. For me, if it had to be a one shot that I was going to write for you guys, it would just be a fuck around. Knowing you guys, I don't need to write a one shot, and then I could write a story that I want to tell. Like if I was to write the werewolf thing for you guys, it would have all that nuance in it. And it probably would be 2 or 3 sessions because I want to tell the story of the aged werewolf bleeding into the water.
Yeah, that's to me that's the difference. Is I think if you were to contextualize it, where like, oh, if you were to make a mini campaign for an established group of players, I would definitely be on the side of this is a story I want to tell. I want to tell this story.
Okay.
Of like the werewolf.
Okay, I'm coming around. So because you don't have enough time or space to tell a full narrative, instead, one-shots for experienced players are more just fucking around with mechanics.
A little bit. It's fucking around with mechanics, or if it's story related, it could just be like a trippy story that I could tell quickly. Like a turn of the head, a twist of something.
Okay, hear me out. I am never going to finish my thought on how to do large-scale battles.
Okay.
Not in Moria, not in anywhere.
Yeah.
I will never finish that thought. But
If you were to be an eagle.
I could test my theory on large scale battles
Yes.
in a one shot with
Yes.
you guys.
Yes. I think that's a great opportunity, especially because
Yeah.
if you have experienced players who are veteran players who know they're going to give a fuck and they're going to try. So, like, if you have an idea for how to deal with large scale combat, why not do that in a one shot?
There are Lord of the Rings species and Lord of the Rings classes on D&D Beyond, and while testing this out and never finishing my thought with you because you fucking cut me off
Sure.
like 10 times in a row, it was 3.
What?
I would love to be like, hey Gray, hey Nix, we're gonna play a campaign. It's gonna be large scale combat. You are otherwise heroes in comparison to the people that are in combat with you. You're the heroes of the tale. But we're just jumping straight into the final battle. Also, we're only playing with Lord of the Rings species and Lord of the Rings classes. Also, it's the Battle of Pelennor Fields, not in Moria.
Don't get me wrong. As much as I'm not, I just haven't taken the time as an adult to read the books or watch the movies.
That's going to be a U1 plays now.
I like the lore.
Everybody listen up.
I like the
all of the
lore.
audience members
I like
listen
the
up.
lore of Lord of the Rings.
If you were
It's fun
around
lore.
and you witnessed our short, as well as maybe heard the actual podcast, and you heard how wronged I was, coming soon. U1 plays large scale combats, the Battle of Pelennor Fields. Be there.
All right, that's you. A little taste of U1 plays coming up. But yeah, again, to me, like that would be how I would approach a one shot for veteran players. Is like a new thing,
Yeah.
trying out
new.
something. And again, it could be story related. It could be a very rich story
Because even
narrative.
like doing Realm Watchers, I wouldn't consider realistically as a one shot.
No,
In the sense that
they are
you're gonna,
they're supposed to be.
they are one shot. Well, it's more like Westward's March, but that's still a campaign.
Yeah,
If we're literally talking about, hey, we're gonna meet up on a Thursday in October, and that's the only time that we're gonna meet up this year.
yeah.
We'll just fuck around with a level 20 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or I have weird mechanics like that I want to do. I want to do a game where potentially high level D&D 5e but with altered health rules and damage rules,
Yeah.
which is the basic concept is your health is additive. So it is your dice class plus your con plus your level. And I think that's it. That's your health pool. So it does go up very small. And then all damage is reduced to a single die. So like if you have fucking, I don't know, if you have a spell and it does 4d6, it does 1d6. If you have a sword that does, an extra 2d4 of fire damage, it does an extra 1d4 of fire damage. So everything is reduced down to 1 die.
Do you add your modifiers or no?
You still add mods.
I feel like your health pool is tiny then.
It's intentionally to make 5e one quicker combat, kind of like Delta, kind of like G&G, where your health pool becomes very small, but everybody's only ever hitting you with 1 die, so it's like a d6 plus 3 is like that's the what's the damage that the Tarask is doing to you is like a d12 plus 2. Now
sure.
It's only going to be 1 or 2 rounds.
Yeah, sure.
But that's the point. The point is that at level 20, you could still have a 3-round combat.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
even a Tarask, but also a Tarask is going to have significantly more health.
Yeah, again,
Because it would be for creatures, it would be their con. They don't really have a hit die. No, I think they do have technically.
Most creatures have hit dice.
So it would be their hit die plus their con plus their CR.
Yeah.
So like if you have a CR 15 creature, it's fucking 15 health. That's crazy strong.
Yeah, I mean, again, I am curious, or it is something where like, yeah, let's
just fuck around and try it in a one shot.
Yeah, why fuck? Yeah, let's find out.
Let's fuck around and find out in a one shot.
Yeah, and again, to me, that's a big motivator, or what I would think of when trying to think of. Again, not a mini campaign, just a one shot with my group of friends.
A true one shot, yeah.
We've all played for years, and it's like, hey, dude, we all have Saturday open. It's like, oh, cool. Like the afternoon is like, yeah, from like 3 to 8, we're all available. Let's get together and just kind of, let's do something. Cool. 100%. If it's your friends, people you're gonna meet up at 3. Somebody's bringing food. You're going to eat for an hour, talk for probably some of that is like another hour of talking.
Well, so it's so much easier to accomplish a one shot with the home tape. Well, at least for us, because we're all fucking degenerates. It's funny. It's funny hearing from my players their experience with their friends and whatnot, all within the same age level of us. I think it's also just the culture of the cities that you live in. Us being in Japan, it's a little bit different.
Sure, yes.
But yeah, all of my players were they meet up and they like have a 3-hour session or whatever, and it's like, oh, like we just don't have a time limit. Dude, sometimes for our podcast, we're such degenerates. Sometimes we meet at 5 p.m. I think, what is it, like 11 now? It's 10 o'clock now. Like the 1 hour podcast is 10 o'clock. We didn't start till 9 this time.
Yeah.
Like we just really just do everything on the whim.
Yeah.
And when we do one shot, like we've had fucking 10-hour sessions.
Before this podcast started, we had literally like a 30-minute conversation
that we regretted not recording.
That we could have easily had on the podcast, because it was about like Daggerheart and how much like the improvisation nature of Daggerheart, I think Sov would actually click really well with.
A lot of my players have told me that, yeah.
In terms of like how Sov would be so open to like letting his players determine aspects of the game, because to him that's like the whole bounce back and forth of the it was a whole conversation. It was like, I wish we captured that, but it just, yes, at least with me, when I think about hanging out and being with my friends, if there's a goal in mind, there's so little likelihood that you're actually going to be doing that goal within the first couple of hours of the thing that you're doing. Like, so
dude, you showed up today and I was a little bit tired when you showed up. I had the the studio.
Yeah, somewhat prepared.
Garage. Mostly prepared.
Most of the equipment was
I was like really in the mindset of like, you're going to get here and we're going to hit record so that I could go to bed.
Yeah, no.
We talked for like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
we went and got pizza and then came back and talked for an hour and a half.
I don't know. Yeah. It was just, we just hang out.
The luxury of a home table is oftentimes we'll be like, we'll play from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because someone at the table has a hard out at 10.
Yeah.
Usually it's not most of the group, but someone does.
Sure.
And then inevitably, whenever it's 10 o'clock, we're like, oh, would you mind if we continue playing after you? And then we play till like 4 in the fucking morning.
Even last time when we finished up the System Exploration game, which hopefully next week is when it releases.
Likely.
So System Exploration, first session 0 and session 1. Trying to see if we can bundle that together to release the same day. At least that's the goal that we've talked about. We finished. I remember at one point when we were recording, I was like, I want to time it so that we can finish the session, be at the last hour of the session, so that we could do a fresh recording.
Yeah.
Of Take the Damage and our reaction and like our reactions to the game itself we could do it right away. Didn't work out. We recorded the last session. It was like midnight.
Yeah.
I remember Sov, you were just like, all right, you guys are ready to record? And then I look at you and like, I'm down. And then I look over to my left to Gray, who was DMing this game, But I guess when the flag went down and it was over, his body just like collapsed
Dude,
in on itself.
that happens to me
He
every
was
single
done.
fucking Saturday. Where like I love my Saturday game, and then every single Saturday I'm like juiced, right? We're in the game, blah blah blah, and then I'm like, and folks, that is what we'll put a pin in it for this week. And then we'll sit there and chat for like 5 minutes, and in that 5 minutes, I go from like juiced to like, oh, I need to go to bed before I pass out of my chair. It's just like as soon as I say that I no longer feel responsible for the party,
Yeah.
right? Like it really wouldn't bother me if within the first 30 seconds post game, people are like, all right, well, I gotta go. It really wouldn't bother me.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not responsible anymore. So like, I just sit there and I am no longer the host. I am just a participant. And sometimes it's like 5 minutes or 10 minutes in, but the whole 5 minutes or the whole 10 minutes, I'm just sinking and sinking and sinking as I go from like DM mode being on for 4 hours. It's one of the things that my wife doesn't get that my brother very much does, because I live with both of them, is my brother understands that to be a DM, especially in a lot of my games, I'm talking for like 4 hours straight.
Yeah.
Every single player that talks is talking to me.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
And if nobody is talking, I am driving the
You're
narrative.
narrating. Yeah.
I am narrating. So I am talking for like 4 hours straight. I am on
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that responsibility is taken away from me, I just like
I think there is like a thing to like, there's a DM black hole collapse that happens when you just, like you said, you are this star. You are the sun shining brightly on your characters.
Yeah.
And your gases are pushing it against gravity as you are shining your light on them. But as soon as that responsibility is over, as soon as, hey, let's put a pin in it. Let's do the cooldown. Everyone,
supernova.
all of a sudden, you're just collapsing in yourself to be like, oh God, I'm tired of creating. I'm tired of talking.
It hurts.
Everything it's all pain. Existence is pain.
It's so crazy because I'll be like, let's say my game ends at 10, 9:59. I'm like juiced. Like I'm there. I'm excited. I almost always like, I really, really try my best to always end on a good note or an important note. Depends on the game. And so like in the last moment of every session, I'm still like fully into it, fully aware, fully awake, fully in narrative mode, trying to make sure everybody's having a good time, trying to end it on the good note. And then it fucking hits and I'm like,
oof.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was blocking all that out. Oh, geez. Because the thing is, like, as a player, it's like the opposite. If I'm tired, we had it in a couple of or at least one of the games in the Delta Green game.
You and Grace sync hard mid doing stuff. Yeah.
Sometimes I want to play and I'm here to join the game, but I'm fucking tired, man. The day was beat.
Yeah.
I come in and I'm like barely hanging on, but I want to be a part of things. And it's just like, sometimes stuff is happening in the game.
That was like the cutest little kid thing. Like, I don't know. In my mind, I read that as like a cute kid. I just want to participate.
I just want to be there, man.
I want to be included.
But it's just like, you get into the game and as a player, there are moments where you're totally not involved.
Yeah.
Where your DM is talking with the other players at the table, something you're not even there. And it's like the post-game collapse of a DM. Where you kind of, your body just goes like, hey man, you're tired. Let your eyelids drop a little.
Yeah.
Eyelids could drop
you
just
go
a
from
little.
You go from like, hey, you're in the Nine Hells and you're traveling on the river Styx while devils are, fiends are flying around you and they're chirping at you and whatnot. And you have to get out of here within a certain amount of time in order to be safe, and all of these things are happening. The music is bumping in the background music that your DM is playing for you. Sick. You're making rolls, you're making saves. Awesome. And now in this moment, you realize that you're a human in the real world.
Yeah.
And you went to work today and you've been up since 5 because your cat woke you up early and you're tired and you didn't eat enough today. So you're kind of at a calorie deficit and it's not your turn. So you're just thinking about the fact that usually on not D&D nights, you go to bed an hour earlier than it currently is.
I like your. I don't know if you should have done it more where like that inner monologue was slowing down even more, like you getting more and more tired, and you notice that even your monologue is drifting away off.
Even your inner monologue is starting to slither worse.
Hey! You still here? What? Oh, what's?
Nix, it's your turn.
oh, geez.
Nix, it's your turn.
Okay.
What are you doing?
What's
Are
happening?
you casting a spell? Do you remember what spells you have, Nix? It's your turn.
Well, anyways, that was a really good take on one shots.
You know, the first half was super topical.
Oh yeah. We hit like a couple of points about veteran, but I think the veteran side of one shots is just really easy. I don't think there's.
Oh no, but that was kind of my point. Is that like it's so? My original point was like it's so easy that you do it for you.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to speed run this thing?
Sure.
All right. Thank you for listening to Take the Damage podcast. I'm Sov. You can find me over at startplaying.games. I run games over there professionally. I'd be happy to have you in my games. I do take customer requests, so you can join any of my games that are currently listed.
Please like and subscribe to this video. If you want to watch more of our content, please follow us on all of our socials. Follow us on our websites, and I'm Nix.
Hit like, hit subscribe, hit bells, go to our website, go to our Patreon, become members, get extra content, and maybe get your name in the video. Good night.
Bye.